My beloved child, you only need 3 minutes today. Not 3 hours, not 3 days. Just 3 sacred minutes of faith, stillness, and surrender. Because when God decides to heal you, it doesn't take time, it takes trust. You see, healing does not always roar. Sometimes it arrives as a whisper, a trembling breath of mercy, a gentle touch of light upon your weary soul. Close your eyes, my child. The world has been loud, your body has been tired, and your spirit has been aching for a holy rest. But in these 3 minutes, heaven bends low to meet you. The angels are standing by your side, and the hand of God is reaching through the veil. Let us pray. Prayer. Father, in the quiet of this moment, I lift up every wound, every sickness, every shadow within me. Breathe your divine breath upon my flesh, my mind, and my heart. Make me whole again, Lord. Where there is pain, bring peace. Where there is fear, bring faith. Where there is confusion, bring clarity. Where there is weakness, bring your strength. For you, God, are not limited by time, by distance, or by diagnosis. You heal in whispers. You heal in wonder. You heal in ways the world cannot explain. So I receive my healing now. In these 3 minutes, I believe that something miraculous is moving. In my blood, in my bones, in my soul. Beloved, healing is not about perfection, it's about presence. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not finished. The same God who raised mountains from dust can raise your body from pain. The same God who turned chaos into creation can turn your tears into triumph. So lift your head, touch your heart.
Whisper these words with me.
I am healed, I am whole, I am His. And when you walk away from this moment, carry that truth like a song inside your chest. Because healing begins not when the pain ends, but when faith begins. You only needed 3 minutes today, and in those minutes, heaven heard you. Go now, my child, and walk in the miracle that has already begun. Healing happens not in the ticking of a clock, but in the trembling heartbeat of faith. My child, I want you to understand this time is not the healer, God is. The minutes, the hours, the years that pass do not mend the soul. What mends the soul is the courage to believe again, to trust again, to lift your weary eyes to the hills from whence cometh your help. You see, so many of us have been taught that healing is a long road, that it must take time, effort, medicine, or perfect circumstance. But the truth is, healing can come in a single breath when your spirit says yes to God's touch. It does not take the turning of seasons for the Creator to perform a miracle. All it takes is faith that is as small as a mustard seed. Faith that whispers, I believe even if my body trembles. The human heart, my dear, has a way of measuring everything. We count the days we have been in pain, the months we have been waiting, the years we have been broken. But God does not count time as man does. God counts faith. God measures surrender. God listens not to the calendar, but to the cry of a trusting heart. You might be sitting there right now, worn and weary, thinking that too much time has passed, that too much has been lost. But let me tell you something, darling soul. When God moves, time bows. When God speaks, pain silences. When God decides, healing happens. Not next week, not someday, now. Because the divine does not dwell in the past or the future. The divine lives in the eternal now. You see, the miracle of faith is not that it makes sense. It's that it makes way. Faith clears the clutter, the doubt, the disbelief, and allows the light of heaven to enter your wounds. In that light, healing does not crawl. It leaps. It does not whisper. It sings. It does not ask for permission. It declares, be made whole. There's a story written in the pages of every soul, stories of waiting, of praying, of aching. Some wait a lifetime, some wait an hour, and some are healed in the quiet blink of belief. But what makes the difference is not the time spent, it's the trust given. It's the moment your heart turns from fear to faith, from asking to receiving, from striving to surrendering. Faith, my child, is not about forcing the miracle. It's about making room for it. It's the soft yes that invites the Creator to touch what doctors can't see, to restore what tears have broken, to mend what words have wounded. When you say yes to faith, you give permission for heaven to move in your life. And that's why you only need 3 minutes. Not because God is in a hurry, but because God is eternal. God does not work on your schedule, He works on His promise. 3 minutes of pure, unshaken faith can do what years of worry never could. 3 minutes of surrender can turn mourning into dancing, despair into delight, pain into praise. Sometimes we think faith must be loud. We think it must shout or plead or fight its way into heaven. But often, faith is quiet. It's the silent tear that falls in the dark. It's the whisper that says, Lord, I'm tired, but I still believe. That whisper is enough. God hears it. Heaven hears it. And when heaven hears, heaven heals. Oh, beloved, let me tell you, there is no wound too deep, no past too dark, no sickness too great for God's healing hand. The body may ache, but the soul can rise. The heart may break, but faith can rebuild. You may think your healing will take years, but God says, child, give me your faith for just 3 minutes, and watch what I will do. Because time is a tool in God's hands, not a barrier. And when faith touches eternity, seconds stretch into miracles. You may step into prayer broken and step out whole. You may close your eyes in pain and open them in peace. That's how swiftly grace moves when faith unlocks the door. You see, healing is not just the mending of the body, it is the remembering of who you are. You are not the sickness. You are not the sorrow. You are not the wound. You are the beloved child of a living God, who still speaks light into darkness and life into dust. So don't count the days. Don't measure the pain. Don't time your miracle. Just open your heart. Believe that the same God who spoke the sun into being can speak healing into your situation. Believe that His power has not weakened, that His mercy has not expired, that His love has not forgotten you. When you believe, truly believe, time loses its grip. Wounds close faster. Joy rises sooner. Peace flows deeper. That is the rhythm of divine timing. It is not bound by your clock, but by your calling. So today, as you sit in your 3 sacred minutes of stillness, tell God, here I am, Lord. I'm ready. Let go of the how and the when. Stop waiting for a perfect time. The perfect time is now. The perfect moment is this breath, this heartbeat, this holy silence where God's love meets your faith. And when that meeting happens, oh child, healing begins to bloom like dawn breaking through the night. You will feel it in your bones, in your breath, in the stillness that follows. You will feel peace where there was panic, strength where there was sorrow, and light where there was loss. Because healing, true healing, is not time's gift. It is faith's miracle. And all you ever needed was the courage to believe that God could do in 3 minutes what the world said would take a lifetime. Child, there's a sacred rhythm in stillness, a melody in the quiet that the busy world can never play. When you hush the noise and let silence speak, you will find that God has been waiting there all along, patient, tender, ready to remind you that you were never walking alone. The power of stillness is not in the absence of sound, but in the presence of peace. When you sit in stillness, you make space for the divine to whisper healing into your bones. The world will tell you that motion is power, that doing is living, that noise means purpose. But I tell you this, the soul grows not in the thunder, but in the hush that follows it. The tree does not stretch its roots in the storm. It waits for the calm rain. The heart does not heal while it's racing. It heals when it rests. In the quiet, God breathes. In the quiet, God speaks. So when I say you only need 3 minutes, I do not mean 3 minutes of running or pleading or shouting your pain into the heavens. I mean 3 minutes of stillness, 3 minutes to stop wrestling and start receiving. For the moment you stop trying to fix everything, you make room for God to do what only He can do. Stillness is not laziness, it is surrender. It is the laying down of your weapons at the feet of the one who fights for you. Close your eyes, beloved, and listen. Not to the traffic outside, not to the ticking of the clock, but to the deeper pulse of life within you. That quiet thump in your chest, that steady rhythm, it is proof that God is not finished. Every beat says, I am here. I am still with you. Even when you feel forgotten, the Creator is near, and He does His best work in silence. You see, the spirit of stillness has power, because it invites awareness. When you sit quietly, you begin to feel the weight you've been carrying. You begin to notice where the hurt lives, where the fear hides, where the tension clings. But do not run from that awareness, my child. Invite God into it. Let Him see the rawness, the ache, the fatigue. He is not afraid of your silence or your scars. He moves within them. Stillness is where miracles begin to take shape. It is the womb of transformation. Think of a seed buried in darkness. It does not cry out. It does not move. It simply waits. And in that waiting, in that stillness, life begins to form. Roots dig deep, unseen and uncelebrated, but essential. Your still moments are the same. They are not wasted. They are working. While you are silent, heaven is stirring. Oh, how many people run from silence because they fear what it will reveal. They drown themselves in distractions, afraid that the quiet might expose the truth that they are tired, that they are lonely, that they are longing for something holy. But child, it is in that revelation that healing begins. For God cannot heal what we keep hiding. When you are still, you are honest. When you are still, you are open. Stillness is not a pause from life. It is life's prayer. It is the moment your soul exhales after holding too much. In stillness you learn that you do not have to control everything to be loved. You do not have to prove your worth to be worthy. You do not have to shout to be heard. You only have to be still enough to feel the divine hand upon your heart. The noise of the world will always try to convince you that silence is weakness. But the saints, the poets, the prophets, they all knew the truth that silence is where strength is born. Moses met God in the stillness of the mountain. Elijah heard Him not in the wind or the fire, but in the still small voice. Jesus withdrew to quiet places to pray, to breathe, to align His heart with His Father's will. If the Son of God needed stillness, so do you. In those 3 minutes of stillness, let your spirit unclench. Let your mind rest from its chasing. You do not need to think your way into healing. You need only to let your heart rest in the presence of the one who heals. Feel His nearness in the air that fills your lungs. Feel His mercy in the warmth of the sun that touches your skin. Feel His peace in the rhythm of your breath. Every inhale a promise. Every exhale a release. Sometimes when you are still long enough, you begin to notice that your body softens. The tension in your shoulders loosens. The ache behind your eyes eases. The racing thoughts slow their march. That is not coincidence, my dear. That is communion. That is what happens when heaven meets earth inside you. Stillness is not empty. It is full of God. When you enter that quiet space, even for 3 minutes, you are no longer striving. You are aligning. You are saying, Lord, I trust you more than my worry. I trust you more than my fear. And in that trust, healing flows like water through dry land. You don't have to beg for it. You only have to be still enough to let it in. Remember this, a noisy mind cannot hear a gentle God. He does not compete with chaos. He waits until your heart grows quiet enough to notice His whisper. And in that whisper, He reminds you, peace, be still. You are safe. You are loved. You are healed. So when the world shouts for your attention, dare to step away. Find your 3 minutes of silence. Sit beneath the weight of God's presence. Feel how the air grows softer, how your thoughts become lighter, how your heart opens wider. That is the miracle of stillness. It doesn't ask you to do more. It invites you to become more. And when you rise from that quiet place, something within you will have shifted. You will not rush the same. You will not speak the same. You will not fear the same. Because once you have tasted the peace that comes from stillness, the noise of the world will never satisfy you again. Child, healing is not always about what changes outside you. It is about what changes within you when you choose to rest. Stillness is not the end of movement. It is the beginning of peace. It is the sacred pause that allows the soul to catch up with the body. So take your 3 minutes today. Let silence hold you. Let stillness heal you. And when you open your eyes, know this: God was there all along, waiting for you in the quiet. There is power in the spoken word, child. Power that shakes the heavens and stirs the soul. The tongue, though small, carries the authority of creation. From the beginning of time, God spoke and the world became. He said, "Let there be light," and light burst forth from the mouth of eternity. That same breath of creation lives in you. When you open your mouth in prayer, you do not merely speak, you declare. You participate in the divine rhythm that formed the stars. Words are not wind. They are spirit. They are seeds planted in the unseen soil of the heart, and one day they grow into what they were spoken to be. This is why prayer is not an empty ritual, it is a living force. When you speak your prayer aloud, when you wrap your faith in words and release them into the air, heaven listens. The air changes. The atoms shift. The Spirit of God moves. You see, silence has its place for reflection, but when you pray aloud, you give your spirit a voice. The pain that has been sitting quietly inside you suddenly finds release. The hope that has been buried deep begins to rise. When you speak healing over yourself, you are aligning your earthly voice with the sound of heaven's promise. The world was built through speech, and it is healed through speech. Oh, how many times have we cursed ourselves without knowing it? We say, "I'm tired, I'm broken, I can't go on," and the universe answers yes. But when you shift your language and say, "I am strong, I am healed, I am whole," that same universe bows to your faith. Life and death, my child, are not found in the doctor's report, they are found in the tongue. What you speak shapes what you see. Dr. Maya Angelou once said, "Words are things, you must be careful about the words you use." And she was right. They get into your skin, your home, your mind. They become the story you live by. This is why you must pray out loud, why you must speak truth even when your body aches, even when your heart is heavy. Because when you say, "Lord, heal me," the air itself carries your plea to heaven's gate. There is something sacred about hearing your own voice echo faith into a fearful room. It's as if every syllable pushes back the darkness a little more. Your voice reminds your heart of what it already knows, that you are not powerless, that you are not forgotten, that you are beloved. When you speak God's promises, you call them forth from eternity into this very moment. Child, you must understand, prayer is not begging. It is declaring. It is not convincing God. It is agreeing with God. You are not trying to twist His arm. You are learning to hold His hand. When you pray aloud, you say, "Father, I align my voice with yours," and in that alignment the miraculous begins. There will be times when your voice trembles, when your words stumble, when tears mix with your prayer, but that's all right. Heaven does not need perfect grammar. It needs honest faith. The sound of a breaking heart crying out to God is more powerful than a choir of rehearsed tongues. Speak from your truth. Let the words come as they may, for even your sighs are heard. When you say, "I am healed," you are not lying. You are prophesying. You are not describing your current state. You are declaring your divine future. Speak it until it feels real, until your body begins to respond, until your atmosphere shifts, because healing begins in the unseen, and words are the bridge between what is promised and what is present. Think of your prayer as breath-carrying faith. Each word is a wind that moves mountains, tears down fear, and builds new pathways for grace. The act of speaking brings alignment, your mouth, your heart, and your spirit working together. It's as if heaven waits for your sound to say, "Now we can move." When you say, "In the name of Jesus, I am free," you're not hoping, you're claiming. You are taking ownership of the promise that already belongs to you. The spoken word gives life to your belief. It is like striking a match in a dark room. The moment sound touches faith, light bursts forth. You may feel weary, you may doubt, but don't let silence have the final say. Speak anyway. Speak even when your voice shakes. Speak when your faith feels fragile. Because the enemy of healing is not pain, it's silence. When you refuse to speak, you let fear build its home inside you. But when you open your mouth and pray, fear trembles. There is music in prayer. It doesn't always rhyme, but it always resonates. When you speak words of faith, your body hears them. Your cells respond. Your spirit straightens its back. Even your circumstances begin to listen. This is not magic. It is divine law. The same God who spoke galaxies into motion gave you a voice to call healing into your life. And so, child, speak over yourself. Speak life into your morning. Speak peace into your nights. Say, I am the healed of the Lord. Say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Say, my body is a temple and my soul is light. The words may sound simple, but simplicity carries strength. Faith is not complicated, it's courageous. You see, prayer is not just communication, it's transformation. Every word you release changes the atmosphere within and around you. When you pray aloud, you step into partnership with heaven. You become a co-creator with the divine. That is why the world listens when a soul speaks from faith. It recognizes the sound of its maker. And remember, the more you speak life, the more life responds. The more you say, I am healed, the more your spirit aligns with that truth until your body must obey. Your tongue is your compass, set it toward hope, and your life will follow. So don't just think your prayers, speak them. Let them roll off your tongue like honey, like prophecy, like freedom. Stand in your kitchen, your car, your room, and speak healing into the air. Speak forgiveness over your past, courage into your present, joy into your future. Because when you pray aloud, you awaken creation itself. You remind the world who you are, a child of God with authority in your voice. And heaven leans in close to listen, smiling, because faith has found its sound again. So go on, my child. Speak healing, speak hope, speak truth. For the words you release today are the miracles you will live tomorrow. Child, there comes a moment in every life when you must decide who you are. Not who the world says you are, not who your pain has shaped you to be, but who God declared you to be before the first light kissed the earth. And in that sacred moment, the power of your own voice becomes your deliverance. For when you speak the words, I am healed, I am whole, I am His, you are not whispering a wish, you are proclaiming your identity. You are reminding creation that you belong to the Creator, that no wound, no sorrow, no sickness, no sin can strip away what God has stamped as holy. These words are not mere affirmations, they are resurrection. Each syllable breathes life into dry bones, calling forth what has been buried beneath disappointment, fear, and shame. When you say, I am healed, you are not denying your pain, you are declaring that pain will not have the final word. You are telling your heart, rise up. You are commanding your spirit, stand tall. You are letting heaven and hell both know that your soul remembers who it is, beloved, redeemed, unstoppable. Faith, my dear, is not quiet acceptance. It is holy rebellion. It dares to say, even here I will believe. It stands in the ruins of yesterday and builds a cathedral out of broken pieces. That is what happens when you declare healing with your own tongue. You shift from victim to victor, from waiting to walking, from praying for a miracle to becoming the miracle. The world will look at you and see weakness, but God sees a warrior. And warriors do not whisper their faith. They speak it into the storm. The moment you say, I am whole, every cell in your body begins to listen. Your mind begins to rearrange itself around the truth. Your spirit straightens its spine. And the shadows that once followed you start to fade, because darkness cannot dwell where light is declared, and faith is the brightest light of all. Do you know, child, that the enemy's greatest desire is not to destroy your body, but to silence your mouth, because he knows that the moment you start declaring who you are in God, every chain begins to rattle, every curse begins to crumble, every fear begins to lose its hold. That is why you must speak boldly, even when your voice shakes. The trembling of your words is not weakness. It is proof that something inside you is waking up. You see, healing begins in belief, but it grows in confession. When you speak, I am His, you are signing your name on heaven's contract. You are claiming your rightful inheritance as a child of the Most High. And in that moment, the old stories lose their power. The story of failure, the story of sickness, the story of betrayal, they all dissolve in the fire of truth. You are not who the pain tried to make you. You are who God says you are, chosen, cherished, and whole. You may think, but I don't feel healed. Ah, child, feelings are fickle. They rise and fall like tides. But faith is the ocean that holds them all. You don't need to feel it to know it. You need to speak it until what you say becomes what you see. Every declaration is a seed planted in your soul. Speak it in the morning when fear greets you. Speak it at night when doubt whispers. Speak it when tears fall and strength fades. Because every time you speak truth, lies lose their power. There is a holy rhythm to this kind of prayer. It starts as a whisper, grows into a song, and ends as a shout of victory. When you say, I am healed, it might sound fragile at first. But say it again, say it until your bones remember it, until your heart begins to dance to its melody. Say it until the mirror reflects back, not a broken image, but a masterpiece in progress. Child, do not wait for the evidence to believe. Believe and the evidence will appear. Faith is not blind. It simply sees before the eyes do. It looks into the unseen and says, I claim it now. And that is what your declaration does. It bridges the invisible and the visible, bringing heaven's promise into earthly form. When you say, I am His, you are laying your fears at the feet of love. You are saying, I do not belong to my worry, my wound, or my past. I belong to the one who holds the stars. There is healing in belonging. There is wholeness in identity. You cannot be broken beyond repair when you are made in the image of repair itself. Sometimes the world will call your declaration foolish. They will say, look at her, she's still sick, still struggling, still alone. But they do not understand that you are speaking from eternity, not circumstance. You are speaking from promise, not pain. You are not describing what is, you are declaring what will be. That is the essence of faith. It speaks light while still standing in the dark. It sings victory before the battle is over. The truth, my love, is that healing is not always a sudden event. It is often a daily declaration. You rise each morning, breathe in grace, and say, I am healed. Not because you have seen the miracle, but because you have already received it in your spirit. Each time you speak it, you water that seed of faith, and before long the fruit appears, strength where weakness lived, peace where anxiety ruled, joy where sorrow slept. So speak boldly, speak fiercely, speak faithfully. Do not let the enemy steal your words, for your words are weapons. They cut through doubt. They shatter despair. They build bridges between what you believe and what you become. Speak until your body hears you, until your pain bows, until your heart rejoices. When you say, I am healed, I am whole, I am His, heaven stands at attention. The angels nod in agreement. God smiles and says, yes, my child, you finally see yourself the way I see you. And that, dear one, is the moment when healing takes root. So lift your head, square your shoulders, and speak your truth. The power of your words can part seas and move mountains. You are not weak for declaring your healing. You are wise. You are not delusional for calling yourself whole. You are divine. And when you walk through your days with that truth upon your lips, the world will begin to change around you. Beloved, healing is not an event that flashes once and fades away. It is a promise that breathes through every sunrise. It is a river that does not dry up after one rain, but flows endlessly through the valleys of your life. When God begins a miracle in you, He does not stop at the surface. He keeps working, molding, and mending until your spirit shines brighter than the wound ever did. The promise of God is not momentary, it is eternal. What begins as a spark of healing in 3 minutes of faith can become a lifetime of light. Too many souls believe that healing ends when the pain subsides, but that is only the beginning. The true miracle is in the living after, the daily unfolding of peace, the courage to wake up each morning and still believe, the quiet strength that grows where weakness once lived. You see, when God heals, He does not simply restore you to what you were, He elevates you into what you were always meant to be. He takes the fragments of your hurt and forms a masterpiece that the world cannot ignore. The miracle, my child, is not only in the mending of the body or the easing of the mind, it is in the transformation of the soul. God does not just heal your pain, He rewrites your story. The parts of you that once cried in despair now speak in wisdom. The eyes that once wept in darkness now see in gratitude. The heart that once feared tomorrow now beats with faith. Healing is not the closing of a wound, it is the opening of purpose. You may think your miracle was a single moment, a flash of divine mercy that faded as quickly as it came. But no, darling, miracles are seeds, and seeds grow in time. You may not see their roots beneath the soil, but they are reaching deep, anchoring your spirit, spreading into every hidden place. That first moment of healing, those 3 sacred minutes, were not the end. They were the beginning of a lifelong conversation between you and your Creator. There will be days when you feel that the miracle is slipping away, when pain returns or doubt whispers, did it really happen? But that is only the echo of your old self, trying to find a home in the new. Do not let it stay. Healing does not mean you will never feel hurt again. It means that when hurt visits, you will not bow to it. It means that your faith has become your shield and your soul your sanctuary. The ongoing miracle of God is gentle but unrelenting. It moves quietly in your steps, it hums in your laughter, it holds you in the stillness between your tears. It shows up when you least expect it, when you forgive what once haunted you, when you smile without reason, when you look in the mirror and finally see someone loved. Healing, my child, is not the absence of pain. It is the presence of divine peace that refuses to let pain rule your life. There is a holy beauty in knowing that God's work in you is never truly finished. Each day He polishes your spirit like a gem, carving away doubt, smoothing fear, adding light where shadows linger. Every sunrise is another brushstroke on the canvas of your miracle. The same hands that held you in brokenness now shape you in beauty. You see, the promise of ongoing healing is not about perfection, it's about progression. God's grace moves in layers, peeling away what no longer serves your spirit, revealing strength where you thought there was none. Sometimes it happens so quietly that you don't even notice until one day you realize what once hurt no longer controls you, what once scared you no longer speaks as loud. That, my dear, is the miracle continuing its work. Do not rush your healing. Do not demand to see the full bloom when the seed has just been planted. Trust the process, for God is a patient gardener. He waters you with grace, tends you with mercy, and lets the sunlight of His love do the rest. You may not see the growth each day, but one morning you will rise and realize that peace has taken root in places where pain once grew wild. There will be people who will not understand your journey. They will think your miracle was a moment, a flash of luck, a passing wind. But you will know better. You will know that your healing is not a chapter. It is the whole book. It is the song you sing, the way you walk, the way you love. The healed carry a different light, one that cannot be dimmed by doubt or fear. God does not heal halfway. When He begins a work, He finishes it. But finishing, in His language, means evolving. You are not meant to return to who you were before the pain. You are meant to become someone greater because of it. Healing is not the restoration of the old. It is the creation of the new. You will rise from your wounds with wisdom, grace, and compassion that could only have been born from the fire. So, my dear heart, do not be disheartened when you still feel the ache of old wounds. Do not mistake that ache for absence of healing. Sometimes the scar throbs not to remind you of pain, but to remind you of how far you've come. It is proof that the battle did not win, that you endured, that you were chosen to rise. A scar is not a flaw. It is a signature of grace. The miracle that began in you does not fade when the music stops. It walks beside you in silence. It breathes in your prayers. It lingers in your gratitude. It strengthens your faith so that you too might become a healer to others. For every soul that is healed becomes a vessel of healing. Your miracle was not given to you alone. It was planted in you so you could carry light to someone else still lost in the dark. So walk forward, beloved, not as one who has been fixed, but as one who has been transformed. Carry the memory of those 3 sacred minutes in your heart, but know that God is still speaking, still moving, still healing through you every single day. The miracle continues with every breath you take, with every kind word you speak, with every act of love you give. You are not just the recipient of a miracle, you are the continuation of it. Your healing story is heaven's testimony, and as long as you keep walking, believing, and loving, the promise will never end.